People have been asking for it, so let's talk a little bit about Elias Frontier, a quick guide on how it works, some tips as to how you can survive longer, and a little bit of my opinions early on the game, because it's pretty pay to win for the first season, which is completely normal. That said, before we start, hello there, internet, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. And today's topic, Elias Frontier. Elias Frontier has multiple things. So the first thing is that this is going to be heavily based on your combat power, which right now is obviously tied to how much you are spending. Because you are going to be getting these essence coins, and there is only two ways you can get them. The first one is for clearing these areas outside the boss, right? And there is a hard limit on how many of those you can get. And the second way you can get coins, as you can see, it's CP reward. It's combat power reward. And that's based on your combat power. That means whoever is spending on crayons will be getting more coins than whoever is not spending on them. And this also impacts how many items you can buy on the boss. So yes, the first seasons will be more pay to win. This is just like Dimensional Clash. Dimensional Clash, the first few times, people were getting stuck on stage 3, stage 6, some people on stage 9. It's the same thing. It's normal to not fully clear, but I would suggest you still do one run to get the end of season rewards, which is a multi only for participating on a nice frame, right? So just for participating, I will say it's worth it. If you want to try hard, these frames are animated, which is pretty nice, but they expire on the next season, and they change depending on the boss. This time it's the Mew one, right? That's it. Let's talk a little bit about what you have to do in order to be beating these stages and how it works. This is divided in two phases. Phase 1, you are going to be fighting these areas outside. It is 12 stages, and you can only clear up to 2 of these worlds. Each stage will reward you with 9 of these essence coins, right? Normal. These stages, it's 6 characters, personality bonus included. And then the next day, the boss will open. And in here, you will be able to use 9 characters instead of 6. But there are no personality bonuses. There are not a single synergy in here. So it doesn't matter if you go full depress or if you want to do a mix and match, it doesn't matter. So basically for the bosses is what are the strongest characters in the game right now and putting all of them together, right? So that's why it's important to clear as far as you can on these outside stages so you can get more coins to then push on the boss, because those coins right here, essence coins, is what you are going to be using to buy items. Once again, yes, whales are going to be able to buy a lot more items than you will. It is what it is. That's how most gachas are, and at the end of the day, rankings in gachas will always be pay to win. Okay, it is what it is. Still, I will suggest you try to do it and get as far as you can to get more rewards. So that's the first thing. That's how the coins work, and that's how the game mode works. Phase 1 is those outside stages. Phase 2 is the boss itself. Normal stages, it's a team of 6 with personality bonuses, and the boss stage, it's 9 apostles with no personality bonus. These stages hit really fucking hard. Really hard. I don't know if I can reset to show it to you guys. Yes, I can. Perfect. So there is a few things for these stages. You will be able to choose 2 of whatever you want. If you want to be going here, you will be using a red team. Obviously, you want to be taking advantage of these personality bonuses because they are huge. The easiest one is going to be the press. The press is the best team in the game. It's not going to be changing anytime soon. Also, funny enough, it's the only stage where it's a single boss, meaning you will be able to abuse other items. The rest of the stages are waves of enemies. The press is the only one that you are fighting only one type of enemy and one boss. I don't understand why these developers love so much the press and they keep being quite biased towards it, but it is what it is. Since most people are building a depressed team, this is good, so you can push more in there. The second team that I will suggest, it's either Vivacious or Madness. Those two are pretty good. Compose, the biggest problem is Velvet, and Innocence, unless you are a well, I wouldn't suggest going for it because it's going to be pretty hard to be able to clear in time. Vivi can survive, but there is not enough damage. The biggest problem these stages have is that the enemies crit a lot. This is going to be showing the difference between people who have been grabbing this defense node and people who have been skipping them. In my case, I have, for example, the boards ones for all characters in the account. But for this raid, if you want to be having an easier time, it's going to be the difference between people picking the second boards or not. So something to also take into consideration, it's normal if you get stuck on stage 6, 9, 10, it's normal. Do not think that you're doing something wrong, because most likely it's just a combat power check, nothing else. Another really important thing when it comes to these stages specifically, you are going to be abusing these synergies, obviously, the personality synergies, and you are going to be mixing some characters. This is what I've been using to clear on this stage. And as you can see, my main focus is simply keeping Vivi alive and Epica for all the damage. And there is a couple tricks you can do in here that are going to be, I will say, almost mandatory to be doing. So when you're going into these stages, there are 3 powers you can select. There is only one that is going to be good for the most part, and that's going to be the lazy shield. This will be creating a shield, which is pretty good, 150% of the max HP for everyone, 30-second cooldown. You also have True Divine Punishment, which causes 5k% magical damage, and Electrocution for 7 seconds, 15-second cooldown, which is pretty decent, but for the most part, this is the weakest spell you can pick. And the other one, which is also really good, is Sudden Dash. For 15 seconds, everyone will get attack speed, movement speed, SP recovery, and the cooldown for the senior skills to reduce. This is a fantastic skill. If you can stay alive, Sudden Dash is better. If you cannot stay alive, Lazy Shield is better, but again, it depends what you're doing. Now, after you pick your master power, you cannot switch, okay? You will have to restart if you want to switch. The same applies for runes and artifacts. You can pick 2 runes and 2 artifacts of each type. As you can see, there is these 2 icons in there below. That is that you can pick 2. Some of them you can only pick 1, like is the case for the personality cards. In this case, since we are running 5 Vivacious characters and Vivi, we want to be picking, obviously, the Vivacious card. Now, the best thing I can recommend for people to stay alive, so their characters stay alive, is to actually pick artifacts like the Yomi Moonflower and put them on a character that will die, like is the case for Root. We'll explain why this works in a second, but basically the priority goes towards keeping your tank alive so your DPS can deal enough damage. In the case of a Vivacious team, this means running one of the Epica's cards. This means running Alice Fakes Magic in most teams. This also means running the Vanguard card, because it's 20 cost, but it's still reducing the damage that everyone is taking, which is pretty good. And then the last card that I usually take is either Get Her or the Combat Master. It really depends. Sometimes I go with just one of them. I might be taking both Get Hers. Again, it depends. When it comes to artifacts on your characters, for your frontline, the best item, regardless of element, is the least item on your main tank. On Vivi, I obviously put her own stuff, and I tend to put something like the Grail of Origins for the extra shields. Again, this is just an example. There's 1,000 different ways of doing it. The most important thing to remember is those runes, because the runes are great in order to stay alive. Alice Fake Magic, the Epica's Hero Exaltation only for a Vivacious team, the Vanguard card, and then the Get Her is for extra damage only. The other really important thing is Root having these 2 items. So Root having 2 Moonflowers, or whoever you want to put in there, it doesn't matter, is gonna die. You're only putting a character in there to die. So when you start the match, as you can see, when we come here, Vivi will keep these 2 stacks of the Moonflower, and yes, it stacks. So you're basically having 2 stacks of reduced damage taken for Vivi, even if Root dies, which we don't care if she dies, okay? So almost all teams, I've been using this strategy of having a second frontline that can just give my main tank those 2 flower stacks, and then just going all into 1 DPS, or maybe with the cards. It depends. There is 1,000 different strategies. It heavily depends on your account investment, basically. But that's what I've been using. What I would recommend, once again, scroll down on this list a little bit, because the top 10 people are probably a bad reference, and see what these people are using to clear the normal stages, right? And as you can see, a lot of people are abusing also Momo here, and then some people are also running Mad, because Mad is pretty strong with Chloe being probably one of the best tanks for this game mode, to be fair. And then you can also see what they're using for the normal boss and what characters are pretty good. So let me move myself back here instead of staying on the middle of the screen. So like I was saying earlier, this is going to be divided in 2 phases. The boss hits really hard, not only on the normal stages, but also Meow himself. There is a point that is a combat power check. You either can survive his barrage of missiles, or you just die. Like, there is no in between, there is no nothing. This is heavily tied to your combat power. As a free-to-play, do not expect to be fully clearing this, because even the wells, I'm pretty sure, are not fully clearing yet. Maybe they're fully clearing. I'm not sure what the highest stage is that they can. But as you can see, they have 700 essence coins. That is, to put it into perspective, another 4 characters they can build, in contrast to my account, which is already probably a pretty big account by most people's standards. So it's normal that you are not going to be able to push a lot yet. This is a game mode that will reward people who keep playing. This will be coming back every 2 weeks. We're going to be rotating, every 4 weeks. We're going to be rotating between Dimensional Clash and then Elias Frontier, back and forth. So no rush, this will reward you. The more you play, you will be able to push more every single season, just like the normal Dimensional Clash. Lastly, you can restart at any given point you want to go and restart, but when you restart, you lose the coins. So you have to clear again to gain the coins if you want to go back again and try the boss. So there is no problem with that. And lastly, I think I already said this at the beginning, but just in case, this currency, it's a one-time reward. We're getting so much because of that. When you clear the raids, you do not get this much. So do not use all your currency. Don't be like me. Save it up, and you can check the website tomorrow or in a couple of days whenever it's updated to see what the priority is for this. Enough ranting though, enough jumping. To let me know how you guys are feeling about Elias Frontier so far. There is probably more things I missed, but that's like a quick TLDR guide that we can make in here. That said, I'm out. We are live every single day. You guys have the links in the description down below. Good luck with your pool dinner. I'll see you on the next one.